Am I the asshole for telling my friend's girlfriend I thought she was a little fat? My best friend Nick, 22 male, his girlfriend Marta, 22, and I, 21 male, were hanging out in his basement after smoking a bowl together. She asked him unprompted, "Babe, do you think I'm fat?" Nick, being the dutiful boyfriend, responded, "Of course not, babe." She then turned to me and asked, "Original poster, do you think I'm fat?" Now here's the thing. I strive to be a very candid person. I will not hesitate to speak my truth because I believe it is almost always better to be frank with people than to tiptoe around what you actually feel. In my experience, avoiding the truth often leads to confusion and/or pain. Of course, I don't want to be an asshole, so if I'm going to say something that I think could be taken poorly, I try to be as nice as possible while also remaining candid. Back to the basement. I don't find Marta very fat. I definitely wouldn't call her obese or anything, but a little chubby? Yes. I knew if told her this directly she'd probably get upset, so I asked her in response, "Do you want my honest opinion?" She said she did, so I gave it. My exact words were, "I'd like to preface this by saying that it in no way affects how I view you as a person. I don't think that weight is a good measure of who someone is." That being said, a little bit yes. She got really quiet and it was kinda awkward. I was about to leave anyway, so I went home soon after. Later, Nick texts me and says I really upset Marta and I owe her an apology for what I said. I don't think I did anything wrong. The way I see it, she asked for my honest opinion and I gave it. Just because she didn't like what my opinion was doesn't mean I was wrong to give it. Fishing for compliments doesn't always go the way you want it to. I've gone to other impartial friends, both men and women, to get their opinions and they've been pretty split, so I'm asking Reddit. Am I the asshole? Congrats, you're attempting to use a radical honesty ideology to pretend you don't understand subtext or social norms. This isn't new or groundbreaking or insightful. It's just pretending you don't know what it is to be rude. If you want to call Marta out for seeking reassurance or answers she doesn't actually want to hear, then figure out a way to do that honestly and kindly. But don't act like you didn't know perfectly well that you were pulling her up for compliment fishing, and develop a lies or pawn thing to justify it. Everyone sucks here. In his place I would have circumvented the question entirely. Why do you ask? You know there's more to beauty, and to a person's value, than weight, right? Or even something like, fat is not a bad word, or a bad thing, you know. It's true that it's a bit unhealthy for her to ask, "Am I fat?" and expect a no to make her feel good about herself. So she should examine that. Or even, "Leave me out of this shitshow," would be better than a winded, "I'm just a brutally honest type of person," insult on the thing she's deliberately asking for others to shore up her insecurities about. I was thinking original poster should have exclaimed, "It's a trap," in an Admiral Akbar voice, then walked off to procure some snacks for everyone. You are the asshole. I strive to be a very candid person. I will not hesitate to speak my truth. Re-examine that philosophy. It's not the virtue you think it is. While original poster definitely should have jumped on the nope out of their express, Marta is just as much ta for asking a loaded question. And Nick should have shut her down when she was complaining about original poster's response. Three people who took all the wrong turns in a situation that never should have happened. Agree. Everyone sucks here all around. Marta shouldn't have asked the question if she didn't want an honest answer. Original poster shouldn't have been so honest. And Nick shouldn't have brought this back on original poster. Everyone sucks here because tact is a third option beside lying and telling radical truth, but also, don't ask if you don't want to hear the answer. Ask me no questions and I'll tell you no lies. I'm going to put myself in the firing line here and say, I'm a person who's chubby, my BMI says I'm obese because I'm 4 inches 10 and about 9.5 stone, and if I ask you a question, I want an answer. I don't really understand the whole thing of fishing for weird compliments with lies type of thing. It's a whole minefield. If I ask my friends if I'm fat, they tell me I'm goddamn well fat and to get my ass on a bloody bike. I don't think it's really fair on you to say YTA when you don't know whether the person is like me and would deride you horribly for lying. We'd take the piss for weeks in my friend group, or the girls' social minefield of prancing about the fucking lavender field hoping not to step on a mine. But then again, what do I know? I'm British. I think this really is a cultural, location-based thing. I live in the USA, and if you aren't society's current beauty standard, then you get shamed and bullied for it growing up. Some are fat by choice, some are fat by medical, some are just genetics that might be exacerbated by other factors. I was exposed to blunt honesty from my mother and later K-dramas and living in Korea for a few years to realize it wasn't just made up on television. If you ask your Korean friend if you are fat, ugly, they will tell you point blank the truth. We ignore history where fat was once the beauty standard for women because it meant you could afford to eat well, or be pampered and fed by your husband. Skinny meant you must be poor and forever starving. Good God. This was in Roman times. Kind Edward VIII was morbidly obese, but they still photoshopped him as muscular. Edit. Henry VIII. The wives' killer. Not the asshole you asked and she said yes. People really need to stop asking questions they don't want to the answer to. Now she's hurt her own feelings. She could have guessed the answer when original poster asked if she wanted an honest answer, aka probably not the one you want to hear. She still insisted, so that's on her. Not the asshole. Sorry to quote Taylor Swift, but casually cruel in the name of being honest isn't a personality trait to be proud of. Don't comment on people's bodies. It will always come off wrong. I know she asked, that's on her insecurity, but a neutral answer and subject change would have been more appropriate. How about she doesn't ask at all? Yeah, she shouldn't have started this asinine game, but that doesn't mean he had to agree to play it. Everyone sucks here for me. He didn't play it, he actually answered honestly. Not the asshole. I hate when people fish for compliments that hard. In Ta, I'm with you original poster, she was stupid enough to ask the question in the first place, so she should have been ready for any answer. Perhaps say, cuddly, next time. That is so patronizing, emo. People on here act like saying someone is fat BC they have a lot of body fat is a slur. Yes, it's an insult, but besides that it is also just a descriptor, and what counts here is the intent. She basically asked him if he'd describe her as fat and he said a little. There was no insulting undertone, any patronizing context, etc. I genuinely don't get why people call original poster cruel for what he said. Not the asshole. I just don't understand asking a question you only want to hear one answer for. It's stupid. You even confirmed if she wanted an honest opinion. You gave her exactly what she asked for. We need to stop coddling people who are just fishing for a compliment. She was only asking because she knew she was fat anyway. If she's upset about it, then lose weight. I'm going to probably be downvoted, but like, she literally asked. You didn't force your opinion on her. You even asked if she wanted a completely honest response. The problematic, I'm just honest, jackass is only a jackass if they give their opinion completely unprompted. Emo anyway. You checked with her and she said yes. If she didn't want to hear your actual opinion, then she shouldn't have asked. I also don't personally agree with giving people white lies about someone else's appearance when asked about it. If I ask someone to be honest about something to do about my appearance, I would just be super annoyed if I found out they lied to spare my feelings. I want people to be honest when I ask questions like that. Like, I'm not asking for reassurance, I am asking the actual question. Probably an autistic thing, but I really don't get the need for fake questions. Not just autistic thing. Anyone that puts logic before emotions prefers the candid truth when asking something. If I ask if my butt looks good in those pants, I want an honest too big, or doesn't fit right, over someone saying every pair looks fine. Everyone sucks here. But you are an asshole. There's a fine line between being honest or candid, and saying something you know is going to be hurtful or misconstrued. You could have framed it so much better than the way you did. I don't think you're that naive that you don't realize that. You're not a social warrior taking people down a peg or two for the betterment of society because they wanted a compliment or affirmation. This wasn't an unsolicited opinion, and he basically said, no judgment here, but yes, my honest opinion is that you are a little overweight. Why are you yelling? Sorry, I can't contain the volume of my voice. Not the asshole. She asked for your opinion. Why should you lie? Being fat isn't a bad thing anyway, it's not an insult. Not the asshole. People who ask questions like this to get compliments need to stop getting upset when they get answers they don't want. It is one thing to ask a boyfriend who some would argue is obligated to be less than truthful, but to ask other people and still expect them to lie to boost your ego is moronic. Not the asshole, but poor judgment. Our gal Marta really led with the chin on that one, even after being given a chance to back out. That said, most of the time when people ask that question they are secretly asking for reassurance instead of candor. Me, I'd have deflected the question and said, how should I know? If I so much as look at you, Nick will kill me. Not the asshole. I'm autistic, neurodivergent, and the way neurotypical people ask questions and say they want an honest answer, when in fact they want white lies instead, is messed up. It's not your fault she doesn't like the answer. People need to learn that if they want honest answers, they might not like what they hear. The only way you'd be the asshole was if you had told her that unprompted, but since she asked first, no problem. It's a neurotypical thing but not across the board for NTs, at least not as solidly as it seems those with autism are averse to it. Anecdotally, those in my life who have been positive, respectful, and nourishing additions can play this game when required of them but never initiated it or demanded it from others, while those most dishonest with themselves and whose actions were often furthest from their words were the ones who constantly insisted on communicating this way. So weird reading comments blasting original poster and passionately advocating for lying and manipulative games in social relationships. I am pretty dismayed by all the YTA votes and opinions here. The insistence on lying being the preferable option when asked for truth is why I don't get so many people in this world. If someone asks for an opinion and, when asked, confirms, insists that they want an honest opinion, then they should receive an honest opinion. To do otherwise is to distort reality and deceive the person asking the question. How is that better than being truthful? Not the asshole. Same. I am baffled people expected him to lie and are calling him cruel. Like, she asked for it, he even asked her if she was sure, if she wanted an honest opinion. Not the asshole. You asked her if she wanted you to be honest. That should have been warning enough. If you're asking for honesty, then be prepared to deal with it. Not the asshole. I think all the YTs are martas. I don't understand the you are the asshole here. Sometimes Reddit can be very inconsistent with one case and another. Original poster asked her if she wants an honest answer and he did. Not the asshole obviously. Marta needs to work on her self-confidence. Because chances are they see themselves as the girl, if you look at the world's obesity rates. It's a bit weird to ask your boyfriend's mate if you're fat. Ask your boyfriend sure. You know you've gained weight, perhaps your clothes are a little tighter than usual and you are looking for reassurance that either A, it's not noticed by others yet or B, your boyfriend finds you attractive anyway. Asking the friend was weird and unnecessary, but original poster should NT have gone, all in, with his drive to be candid. It's equally weird to be drawn into these types of discussions with anyone other than your partner. The socially acceptable response would be, you look fine to me, or if you prefer, sorry I don't like to be drawn into conversations about people's physical appearance, and leave it at that. Everyone sucks here.